Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's begin the daily quiz for today with question number 1 on your screen. Consider the following statements. On December 21 every year, the northern hemisphere has summer solstice where the night is the longest. Second, on the equator, the sun is directly overhead on 2 days. Spring equinox in March and the autumn equinox in September. Third, as one moves farther and farther away from the equator, the difference between the lengths of day and night grows. Which of these given statements is or are correct? As you would obviously know, the correct answer to this question is B, 2 and 3. This question is based on the very common fact that you read in geography about how exactly the revolution and rotation of the earth changes the climatic patterns. The first statement is wrong because 21st of December is actually winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. Summer solstice, on the other hand, was actually yesterday, that is 21st of June, which is also the International Day of Yoga. In fact, this is precisely why this question has been asked. This is the news covered in the Indian Express today, which talks about the summer solstice of June 21 being the longest day of the year in the northern hemisphere. As you know, the reason why day and night hours are different from one day to the other day is because of the Earth's tilt. That is, as you know, Earth is tilted 23.5-degree angle between its axis of rotation and its orbital plane. The day occurs on the side of the Earth which is facing the Sun, while it changes to night as the Earth spins and the other side faces the Sun. As far as the equator is concerned, both the day and the night are equal on the equator. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements with regards to inflation and interest rates. Number 1. A 5% inflation implies a general price level in April this year was 5% more than what it was in March this year. Second, the technical definition of a recession requires an economy to contract for 2 consecutive quarters, where one quarter is a period of 3 months. Third, rising interest rates by the RBI is an attempt to achieve lower inflation. Which of these given statements is or are correct? The correct answer here is B again. 2 and 3 are correct. The first statement is wrong. Why? See, when we say that there's a 5% inflation in April this year, we are not comparing it with the last month. That is, we are not comparing it with April. We are comparing it with April month of the last year. So if I am telling you the inflation in 2022, I will be comparing it with April 2021 and not March of 2022. That is why the first statement is wrong. The second and the third statements are correct. In fact, the third statement happened very recently when the RBI increased the repo rate because it wanted to control inflation that is going on at a very high pace in the country. The second statement is also correct. The reason why we're discussing this question is because there is a very detailed and very well defined article in the Indian Express today that talks about the results that interest rate hike would have on inflation in the country. The article says that an inflation that is being seen throughout the world, including in the developed nations such as the US, where inflation has reached about 9%, is a cause of concern. The article says that inflation is the rate at which there is a price rise that we see generally in the market. Rising inflation rate, on the other hand, implies that the rate itself, that is the rate of inflation, is increasing. Like we have seen in India, where inflation was about 4% in September last year, and it has reached almost 8% in April of this year. Next, question number 3. Consider the following statements with regards to typhoid. Number 1. There are no available vaccines to prevent typhoid. Second, typhoid fever is caused by highly contagious Salmonella typhi virus. Third, according to the WHO, a large proportion of severe typhoid fever cases occur in children below the age of 2 years. Which of these given statements is or are incorrect? To remember, you have to choose the incorrect statements out of these. That is why the answer here is A. 1 and 2 are correct. The first statement is wrong because there is a vaccine available to prevent people against a typhoid fever. The second is also wrong because Salmonella typhi is actually a bacteria that causes typhoid. It is not a virus. That is why out of these three, the correct statement is only the third one. The reason why we're discussing this question is because of a recent study published in the Lancet Journal that talks about the emergence of drug resistant typhoid strains, which is a major cause of concern for scientists working in the field of health across the world. Typhoid fever usually causes over 1 crore infections and more than 1 lakh deaths every year. South Asia mainly accounts for 70% of the global disease burden, where India also is located. The article tells you that the large genome sequencing study of bacteria Salmonella typhi was conducted because it is the one that is responsible for the typhoid fever in the human body, as we discussed in this particular question as well. The Indian Health Ministry is also considering introducing new typhoid conjugate vaccines into the National Immunization Program. There are two WHO pre-qualified vaccines that have been developed in India by Bharat Biotech and Biological E. That is why the first statement also was wrong when it said that there are no vaccines available against typhoid. Next, question number 4. Which of the following is the motto of the Indian Navy? We protect. May the Lord of Water be auspicious unto us. Service before self, or not self but country. The correct answer here actually is B. We protect is actually the motto of the Indian Coast Guard, not the Indian Navy. The third one, that is service before self, is the motto of the Indian Army. While the last one, that is not self but country, is used by the US Navy. It's not their official motto, but that is what they usually use. The second one is the correct answer. The reason why we're discussing this is because this was asked in the form of a quiz in the Hindu newspaper today. We had discussed this earlier also, how the Hindu newspaper gives a very interesting quiz in its daily edition. Today's quiz had this question as question number 3, the motto of the Indian Navy. This question and all these other questions have been asked with reference to the Agnipath initiative by the government of India that has been in the news for a lot of reasons. Next, question number 5 is a previous year question from 2021. Which one of the following is used in preparing a natural mosquito repellent? Is it Congress grass? Is it elephant grass? Is it the lemongrass? Or is it nut grass? It's very common knowledge. Many people also use it in their houses also, usually for mosquito repellent. This is actually lemongrass, or also called citronella. Citronella sticks mainly are used when you burn them. They act as repellent for mosquitoes. They are known for their distinct smell. As I said, they are called citronella grass, very commonly used as a natural ingredient in mosquito repellents in a lot of products available in the market. Next, we have a fact of the day, and today I want to share with you some interesting facts about the highest office of the Indian Republic, that is the President of India. The reason why we are discussing this is because, as you know, the NDA led by the BJP yesterday announced that their presidential candidate for the president's election in July will be Srimati Draupadi Murmu, who has been a governor of the state of Jharkhand. This gives us an opportunity to look at interesting facts about the presidents of India in the past. Here are some facts that you must know. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was the first president of India, is till date the only person to have served in the office twice. That is how he has become the longest serving president in India's history. Second interesting fact, Zakir Hussain, who was the third president of India, was also India's first Muslim president. He was also the first president who unfortunately died when he was the president. Thus, he became the shortest serving president of India till now. Then we also have the interesting case of Sri V.V. Giri. He was the vice president and then became the acting president and then went on to become the president as well. So he has held different positions: vice president, acting president, and also the president. Also, V.V. Giri is the only acting president of India to get an opportunity to serve full time as the president of India as well. We also have an interesting study of Mr. Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, who was a Lok Sabha speaker also before he became the president of India. He actually became the youngest president of India at the age of 64 years. He was also the chief minister of Andhra Pradesh before he went on to become the president of India. There's also a very famous incident about him. When he became the president of India in 1970s, India was going through a very tough time financially. So he decided that he does not want to stay in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And he told the government that I would want to stay in a normal house that is given to the other members of parliament and other ministers. But the government requested him, saying that no, there are a lot of rules and a lot of people come to meet you, so you have to stay in the president's house only, which has about 300 rooms. So eventually, he had to accept their request and he stayed in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Also, it is said that he took a major pay cut from his official salary. He took a pay cut about of 70%, saying that the government of India needs to save more money. We also have the case of Mr. K.R. Narayanan, who was India's first Dalit president. At the age of 76 years, he became the president of India, making him the oldest president of India to be elected to the office. These are the important facts which I wanted to share with you about the president of India. Thank you so much for watching the daily quiz.